Hi everybody, this is Dan Stolebarger and welcome to this week's KFIR Middle East Update. You know the drill by now. Go to the website holygroundexplorations.com and lower right hand side click the logo and you'll get the PDF PowerPoint that goes along with this presentation, complete with all the articles. Sometimes we don't get through them all, as well as pictures, and that's very important that you see some of these things. Again, we make no apologies. This report really comes through the lenses of Israel. All of our sources are through Israelis. First things first, we like to call it issues, and we kind of go in rapid fire. The rise of anti-Semitism, hatred of Jews, and the demonization of Israel are at an all-time high. It's the highest level of our lifetime. There was a forum in the United Nations last week. Danny Danon from Israel, Israel's ambassador, reported that over a third of European Jews are afraid to be seen in a yarmulke or wear a Star of David in public. He goes on to say that more of half of the French Jews are considering immigrating because they don't feel safe living in France. Today we hear things about Jews and the Jewish people that we thought belonged to the pages of past history. Anti-Semitism is returning to everyday life, and it is without shame. Now, new article, to the disbelief of passengers aboard Air Serbia Flight 816 to Ben Gurion International Airport, an employee twice said over the intercom, the flight to Palestine will depart from Gate 3. Now, after some passengers protested, they were then told that the flight was actually to Tel Aviv, not Israel. You make sense out of that one. And, we're going to talk about the relationship between Obama and Netanyahu. The U.S. is being condemned by the Obama administration when talking about ethnically being cleansed from the West Bank. U.S. officials have condemned a video by Netanyahu that accused the Palestinians of wanting to commit ethnic cleansing by ridding the Jews from the West Bank. You need to understand this. Let's make it clear. One of the provisions for a two-state solution from the Palestinian side is not one single Jew will be allowed to live in the West Bank. If that's not ethnic cleansing, I don't know what is. Now, there has been, we talked last week about this buildup in the north, whether it's Russia or Turkey or Iran or Syria or the offshoots of Hezbollah or ISIS or Hamas or Al-Qaeda. Again, the IAF is striking civilian artillery targets because of what's called stray mortar fire. For the Israelis, there's no such thing as stray mortar fires. Not when your enemies are sort of doubled and tripled and quadrupled up on that border. So keep an eye out on the Syrian-Lebanese border. Our good friends Iran, who we've made this pact with, they've threatened to shoot down U.S. surveillance planes in the Gulf. U.S. aircraft flying in international airspace were told by the Iranians that they need to change their path or risk being shot down. Good friends. And then there was just a negotiated signed deal between the U.S. and Israel. It's a $38 billion defense aid policy, but it comes, I think, with an asterisk. After signing the deal, Obama prods Netanyahu about moving ahead now with a two-state solution. He said it's the only way. This money will not provide Israel the security they need. The security they need will only come through a two-state solution. Because of how this this statement was worded. There are many that are concerned that this long-running debate between the White House and Obama, that Obama may be making an effort after the November elections to lay out terms of a possible peace agreement between the Israelis and the Palestinians through the United Nations Security Council. Keep in mind, Obama will be the first to say if he has any failures during his 8 years, his chief number one failure is his inability to put this two-state agreement together. And so I really don't think he's finished yet. Another one of those things to keep your eyes open about. You know, Hamas gets about $100 million a year in humanitarian aid. What most people don't realize is that for almost half of that, $40 million of that aid goes directly not just to their military, but to the projects of building tunnels. $40 million. Because of the danger of the tunnels, again, at Operation Protective Edge, Israelis destroyed 32 tunnels. There were soldiers that were killed because of these terror tunnels. And so Israel has now begun to work on a massive underground barrier along the border with Gaza that's meant to block Hamas's terrorist tunnels from tunneling under into Israel. You think of the wall that usually you see that goes from bottom to top. What Israel is actually going to do is to build a subterranean wall that will keep these tunnels from coming through. Remember, Gaza is it's on the ocean, and so a lot of this is sand, and we hear a lot about these tunnel collapses. And so once again, it's all that Israel can do to protect themselves from this insidious attack underground. Our friends at PMW, you can take a look at this yourself. I think it's unbelievable. Palestinian Media Watch. Their heroes on their Facebook page are two of the members of Black September that killed the 11 Israeli athletes at the Munich Olympics. And once again, as long as these killers are elevated to the status of heroes, there will never be peace between Israel and the Palestinians. And mark my words, there'll never be what's called a two-state solution. Millennials, my heart, millennials don't know a whole lot about Israel. A report just came out that less than 1/3 of U.S. educated millennials are able to identify Israel on a map. Only 31 educated millennials can find Israel on the map. We are putting together a tour in February. We call it our FAM tour. And it's for pastors and leaders and emerging upcoming leaders. It's really geared to bring millennials over because Israel realizes that millennials are really pretty clueless about Israel, about not only the land, but the Israel of today. And so something to think, pray about. Join us to see for yourself. Don't let a media shape your opinion about what's going on in the Middle East. Go and see it for yourself. If you know of anyone, please spread the word. Go to our website, Holy Ground Explorations, and check it out. Well, we're talking about millennials. You realize that at this same conference, this same forum at the United Nations, the whole issue of Facebook and social media came up. Danny Danon reported that 63% of all anti-Semitic tweets that call for violence against Jews, of those 63% that are posted, only 1 in 10 are ever removed. And never underestimate the power of social media. And And for it to be, I mean, when we think about the rise of ISIS, think social media. When we think about the rise of anti-Semitism and the stabbings that take place in Israel, think Facebook. And so, again, this is a real issue in our day. We're just about out of time. Shimon Peres, the president or former president of Israel, former prime minister as well, suffered a stroke. Reports now is that he's on his way back to health. So please keep this great man in your prayers. Each week we have Torah gleanings. We pull out a portion from the Torah portion readings for the week. You can take a look at that. And we also have quotable quotes. I have a quote from a new devotional book that I have called The Valley of Vision, and it's really the prayers of the Puritans as well. And so that pretty much does it for this week's Middle East Update Report. Again, visit our website. We'll be off to Israel on Thursday, September 22nd, and our next, most likely our next Middle East update will be coming to you from Israel. So remember us in your prayers, and of course, remember to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Shalom.